in Barnesville here in the next 20 minutes. Now, you're watching from Metro Atlanta this morning. You are seeing rain. You are hearing thunder. In fact, I just talked to Caitlin Pratt just a second ago. She's not too far away from we're at PDK right now. The rain has begun in the metro area, but I am not anticipating severe weather basically north of Noonan to McDonough to Covington. We're looking at just steady rain in this area here over the course of the next little while. So the severe weather threat, that is going to be down to the south. Now, let me show you why we have the severe weather threat and this warning in place, and this is going to be, let's see, right in here. So this is going to be our base velocity here. This is measuring some of the strong winds. Not really looking at much of a tornado threat out of this. The radar up here in Peachtree City, so you're looking at winds blowing towards the radar here and away from the radar like that, and there's no necessarily tight rotation anywhere in there. So it's something we'll keep an eye on, right? The tornado threat with this is not zero, but it is nothing that is necessarily concerning at the moment. But the heaviest of the rain now through parts of Meriwether County and into Talbot County, Harris County, and moving into Upson County in short order. So this is a time lapse over the past hour. Worth noting that we saw a decrease in the lightning. You saw it get down to 377. Watch this. So it went from almost 800 to 377. Well, now it's coming back up. And that is not necessarily the best sign in the world. Back up to 609. Also worth noting that we have the storms forming down south of Auburn and Tuskegee, so that could contribute to that. But still, it is a severe thunderstorm nonetheless. So Pike County, Lamar County, Upson, Monroe have not seen the heaviest of the rain yet. That is to come, and we're going to continue to track it for you here on Fox Local. Another update's coming your way here at 10 a.m. right here, streaming on Fox 5 and Fox Local.
Thank you so much. I'm great. You know, we had a screening last night where it's really the first time I've watched it with just a normal audience of regular people. I couldn't, but you know, it was like my dreams come true. It was people were going crazy and they didn't even know I was there. You know, I was like hiding in the back, and it was pretty mind blowing. So we're walking on clouds right now.
It is so good. And I gotta say, like, this is your feature film directorial debut. Now, some people would have chosen like a 4-character drama in the woods, quiet. You chose to make a movie about assassins on a plane. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
Simpler.
Everyone's like, well, it's a contained movie. It's like there are hundreds of extras in every shot, and they're not coming back the next day. It's like, oh, let's put the second AD in that chair. You know, so you know, wire work and blood rigs, and yeah, it was. I just love that stuff. I mean, anytime that you can get a situation that has this kind of action but has a really great story to it and really great characters to it, like that's the trick. And the fact that it had that, and I really had an idea of where I wanted to take them and who I wanted Lucas to be, that just completely gelled with everything that Josh was thinking and what he wanted to do. It was just perfect.
Well, speaking of Josh Hartnett, I mean, I've been a fan of his since Halloween H2O. You know, I saw theater when it came out. This is like the role I've been waiting for Josh Hartnett. I mean, talk about, he's already broken through many times, but this is a breakthrough. What made you think of him, or how did this happen?
Yeah, there was, you know, you get these scripts and there's the usual suspects, you know, people just immediately gravitate towards you know, a certain list of names. And we had heard that he was interested, that he had read it and he liked it. And it was like, oh my God, there's nothing more perfect than that, because what you really want is someone that can like nail the character, and someone who's going to be interesting, and someone that's going to be unexpected. Like, you know, when Tarantino picked John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, or, you know, like that kind of, you're not thinking of that person in that role. And then I met with him, and everything he was saying about the character was everything that I'd hoped. Like, we weren't trying to make a John Wick clone. We were trying to make something a little bit more ridiculous, and someone who gets hurt and you really are feeling them fall apart, kind of like how a real person would, and also just willing to lean into the more absurdist aspects that I really wanted to go for broke on, and he was just 100% game, and it was like, oh my God, this is absolutely perfect.
It's ambient time. Most people be going to sleep. We'll start with the people that haven't. Are you going to speak to the pilots?
Charithra Chandran, action star. It's so good to see you. How does it
Thank you
feel
so
to be an
much.
action star?
I mean, I'm hooked. I'm addicted. Give me more action roles. I honestly loved it. And like, I think when you're filming a stunt, you're doing it like bit by bit, right? And you never know how it's going to piece together, whether you're selling it, and see how it came out. Like, I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed and I'm addicted.
It's so good. First of all, I loved this movie, and I loved
Thank
you
you.
in this role too. And
Oh,
I'll
thank
say
you.
this: I feel like I don't want to give too much away about your character, all right? But
Mhm.
you do play a character who is sort of doing something for a larger good for the community. And I feel like that must have spoken to you because reading about you, I know philanthropy is a big part of your life, right?
Yeah. And I feel 100%. I think, you know, I have so much privilege in many, many ways. One that I was born, like many that I've born with and I didn't earn, and even earning it requires so many like preconditions. And so I feel a duty to use my privilege for the greater good and for people who haven't been so lucky. But I think what's so fascinating about Isha is that, you know, she has this noble goal, and it's like up to the audience to decide whether what she's doing is right or not, right? It's like we all have many people have good goals in wanting to help and help people, but it's like, do the ends justify the means is always the question. And I think that's fascinating. And what will be interesting is like audience members will have different opinions on that, and you want a film to kind of make you go, I don't know if I agree with everything there, but yeah.
I just want to say I'm Team Isha all the way.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
100%. And I want more. Look, I mean, the movie is open-ended. Is there anything you can tell me? Like, are there ideas for a future installment? Give me the scoop that you can't give anyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think, listen, I'm very open to it. And I think on set, the cast, we would always joke about like what would be the sequel, right? Like, would the sequel be something like Sink or Swim and it's on a boat? Uh, so I think we're all up for it. And we love James. You know, it's like if the powers that be say yes, and if our schedules all align, then I think, yeah, why not?
Come on, you know that I wouldn't call unless it was extremely urgent.
Are you seriously calling me after 2 years?
I want to thank you for being in my favorite movie of the year so far. I love this movie.
Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much. I'm so excited because it is a movie that even when we were making, it felt like an adrenaline ride. So
I'm sure it did. I mean, this movie is so much fun and so nonstop. And let me say, like, no one but you could have played this character. It is so perfectly tailored to you. I just was so obsessed with you in this movie. First of all, I do want to say, I feel like doing this, like I'm on your podcast. Are you very comfortable right now that you're like, you know, you do interviews all the time. This is your thing.
It is really strange. I feel at times now, like I should be asking people questions. Like I didn't, like I showed up without doing my homework on you, and I'm feeling really insecure that like, what do I need to know about Paul? So definitely for sure, but it's sometimes nice to just show up and be able to just fly by the seat of my pants and not have to worry that I forgot that somebody has 3 children instead of, 2.
Totally. All right, so let's talk about the movie. I mean, I can only imagine that when you got this script, it must have just read so wild because it's such a wild movie. What were your initial thoughts reading this script?
It read so fast. That is absolutely correct. I mean, any movie that you can read in under 30 minutes, is a quick movie. I mean, I read it so fast. What I loved about it was that he is put in a position that is everyone's having a really bad day in this. Like every single person,
everybody
showed up for work and was like, I'm sorry, you want me to do what today? like just a really, really bad day, including the guy who, you know, accepts the chainsaw. Everyone's having a bad day. And I think that is something that I loved about this so much. And when I talked to James, and he was so focused on who Catherine was, instead of she's just the person, she's just his handler, she's just this. He was very, very, very focused on who she was before she stepped in here, who she was when she goes home. All of these things influenced, you know, who you saw on screen.
Yeah, well, you can tell it's such a good movie. Come see us in Atlanta again soon. I know you've done Dragon Con before. Come back.
I'm coming this year.
Oh, you are? You're going to be there?
I am this year.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to come and see you and say hi, okay?
Please do. Please
All right,
do.
great to see you.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstop. Thank you so much for streaming with me on our Sunday morning. We want to keep you up to date on severe weather that is rolling in towards the Atlanta metro. Our very own Alex Forbes standing by to keep us up to date. Alex, where are we looking on this severe thunderstorm?
Yeah, Ariel, that's right. It's south of really metro Atlanta now is where the core of the storm is. We've been tracking this since it was back into really the Columbus area, and now It's moving into the south side as we speak. So Pike, Lamar County, Upson County has not seen the heaviest of the weather yet. That is moving in as we are talking here at 10 o'clock on this Sunday morning. Crawford County also included in this warning, then getting down towards Talbot and Taylor counties as this continues to slide towards the east-southeast at about 65 miles an hour. So it is moving at a pretty good clip. Now, I'm going to track this, and I'm going to track the strongest winds here as it moves towards the east-southeast at about 65. Of course, just as I did that, it advanced forward one. So here, let me do it one more time. Just got a new radar scan in, and this is what we're looking at. So Roberta in the next 20 minutes, going to be in the Butler area in the next 21 minutes, and then Bucky's, which is right there on 75, in the next 23 minutes. So it's moving at a pretty good clip, really into the Macon area, but still, before it gets there, it's got to roll through Thomaston, and it's got to roll through Forsyth, which is where we actually have a live camera right now. This is on Interstate 75 in the city of Forsyth in Monroe County. This is that Forsyth-Monticello exit right there. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Starbucks is like right behind the corner right there. This is at the Chevy dealership that's there on 75 in Monroe County. You see the rain obviously coming down now, but the heaviest of the weather is still a little bit away there in Forsyth this morning. Now, let me show you what has basically gone on over the course of the past, we'll say, 2 hours. We've got this system, which is known as an MCS, fast-moving batch of storms that was moving out of the Birmingham area, was really moving towards the east, but then gained this east-southeasterly component because it's following where the most unstable air is. It's basically the path of least resistance, if you will. It's easier for a storm to build on the south side of this than it is on the north side of this. 650 lightning strikes within the last 10 minutes. Notice that's down from about 800 earlier this morning. So that is a sign that, generally speaking, it's not as strong as it was, but it's still a severe thunderstorm nonetheless. We're also looking at some steady rain in the metro area. That is not going to last very long at all. You see the back edge of that's already in Paulding County. So if you're in Fulton County, DeKalb County, I think maybe you got 30 to 45 minutes worth of rain, and that's it. No severe weather for you. All of the severe weather is going to be confined basically Griffin and south now. In fact, I think, just looking at this broad brush, maybe even Butts County and Jasper and Putnam County are going to miss out on this as it's gaining more of that southerly component. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is still technically in effect for the area until 1 o'clock. But here's the deal with the severe thunderstorm watch. If you are behind this line, right, so LaGrange, Carroll County's in it, Douglas County's in it, you are clear from the severe weather, right? If you are basically here, you are clear. The storms are tracking more southerly, right? So if you're in Rockdale County, you're in Walton, Morgan County, you're in this watch, but I'm not too concerned about severe weather out of this line of storms anymore, as a lot of that threat has shifted down to the south. Now, let me zoom out and show you what else is going on, because this is interesting to me. We are seeing some more redevelopment back over the Mississippi River, and this would move over the same areas that saw storms earlier this morning. That's where this batch came from, and I think we could be in line for whatever is developing in northern Mississippi through the course of the afternoon. Now, if you want a little behind the scenes here, because why not, let's do it. I'm going to pull up something that I don't usually show you on TV, but I think it tells the story with what's going on, and it's on the internet if you want to find it, if you think it's interesting. All right, so I'm quite literally going to pull in the internet here, and what we have is called MCS maintenance. All right, so I know this map looks confusing, but what I want you to know is that this little outlined area right here in northern Alabama is telling me that the atmosphere is capable of keeping those storms alive, and that's what matters, right? It gives me a degree of confidence that the storms are going to be able to survive the state of Alabama. So there's a little behind the scenes for you on your Sunday morning. So, Ariel, we're going to continue to track all of these. Otherwise, temperatures getting into the 80s today. I do expect to see a decent amount of cloud cover, and who knows, maybe we'll see that line of storms later this afternoon.
Alex, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm looking at all of this as you're tracking it. Seeing the internet was helpful, having you bring that in. I appreciate that. So we're going to keep checking in with you throughout the morning. I know that as this moves in a little bit more towards some of the kind of middle ground of our viewing area, we're going to start to feel the effects more. I'm actually looking outside through our windows here in studio, and it is dark outside. It's 10 in the morning, but it looks dark outside. So, Alex, we will be checking in with you. Bringing it back over here, we want to let you know about some other damage we're seeing here throughout the Atlanta metro. A tree actually just fell near the Virginia Highlands neighborhood, and I want to take a live look out there if we can. You can see crews have just arrived on scene to begin assessing the situation. Our photojournalist Matt Stringer is out there zooming in. So let's bring that shot up full if we can to take a look. You can see this tree fell, and Matt there on the ground tells me he spoke with a neighbor who says their power is out, their deck was crushed. You can see where the deck is crushed there in the back as he was zooming in. There is a broken window where this tree fell as well. It is a very large tree there in the Virginia Highlands neighborhood. If you want to know where this is for reference, we're talking about Kings Court and San Antonio Drive. So San Antonio Drive and Kings Court right there on that intersection. You can see where the tree knocked down part of that power pole as he's zooming up. That is exactly what crews are on scene to tackle because this power outage is affecting neighbors in that area. We don't know how many are affected. I'm going to be looking up at that in just a little bit, but it looks like Buford's Tree Service is there on scene, ready to chop that tree up and to pull it out of the area. So that way we can, the neighbor can get back. Hopefully once that tree is cleared out, power crews will be able to come in and restore that power. So Matt, thank you so much for this shot. This was great to see. We're going to bring it back here in studio. We want to now take a live look out at Locust Grove. Our Eli Jordan is there waiting as the storm is rolling in. We know Eli has been giving us a look and he is out there. I just saw lightning. Eli, if you can hear me, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, we just had some cloud to cloud lightning. It could have been just a ground strike over the horizon, but I'm looking about southwest and down in southern Henry County over a cow pasture here. Got about 3 hardcore cows. The weather's not bothering them. They're munching, grazing, enjoying a little bit of a shower. But there's been a lot of sounds of thunder and what it seems like a cloud-to-cloud lightning. But the rain hasn't gotten too bad here. It's been somewhat moderate, but it's starting to pick up a little bit. And we're just there's no winds happening yet, but we're kind of like I guess on the northern edge of that southern storm system that's in this little blob heading toward us. So I think it's just going to go just right down through here in the sky there. And so I'm looking southwest and just waiting for that storm to come in. You can hear it coming. The thunder is hollering. The lightning is striking. So just out here waiting for it, and we'll have it covered here in Henry County.
Eli,
Ariel?
thank you. Yeah, we'll be checking in with you to get a look to see what you're seeing, and of course checking in with Alex Forbes to keep all of you guys informed. So thank you so much for streaming along with us. I do want to let you know as we bring it back here to studio, if you have travel plans today, right, the storms could be a factor. Also, keep in mind that TSA is expecting record-breaking travel this Sunday as we look ahead to Memorial Day weekend. Our Tyler Fingert is out there live at the airport. Tyler, good morning. Can you let us all know how the airport is looking at about 10 a.m. on this Sunday morning?
Well, Ariel, good morning to you. I'll tell you, things are actually looking very well here. Things are a lot better than they were earlier in terms of the TSA wait. Let me flip the camera around. You'll see they have the main checkpoint wait right now, 25 minutes. Some of the employees here told me that the wait was actually all the way into the atrium this morning. They said over an hour because today they're expecting over 100,000 people to fly out of Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. That obviously we have a lot of graduations going on here in the Atlanta area, and also maybe people heading out early for their Memorial Day travel plans, even though next week is obviously going to be the big one here. And I'm walking over to the main checkpoint where you can actually see just the wait. It doesn't look that long, but again, they're estimating it's about 25 minutes long right now, just because maybe they don't have as many lanes open. And they're trying to guide people from the different checkpoints. The good news here is I just checked with the FAA. They still do not have any ground stop, and planes are actually coming and going. I checked just a couple of minutes ago with the FlightAware, and really the delays and cancellations are not that terrible here as we continue to walk through the airport. We spoke or I checked with FlightAware, about 180 delays so far today, which isn't that terrible, and just 27 cancellations. So things are actually doing very well here, considering it is raining outside. Again, that's a look at the main security checkpoint here. The wait roughly 25 minutes. And actually, the north checkpoint 7 minutes and the south checkpoint 10 minutes. And so obviously the weather can impact travel plans. I'm actually going to walk outside just so you can see. I see a lot of lightning here, but I guess the weather is not severe enough for them to issue a ground stop here at Hartsfield-Jackson so far. The meteorologists at the National Weather Service are in contact with the FAA, where they will end up deciding if they need to for safety, so planes can land and take off here without a outside, just so you can get a look at just what it looks like. It's not that bad. I mean, obviously we have an overhang right where we are. It is raining, but nothing too serious here right now. So planes are going, planes are taking off. They're obviously slowing the departures a little bit here at the airport, but they are still able to take off, which means for anyone who's traveling today, more than 100,000 people here at Hartsfield-Jackson, they are going to be able to get people coming and going, at least for the time being. As Alex Forbes was saying, a lot of the weather seems to be to the south of the airport. I was looking at the radar just a couple of minutes ago, and all of the real severe stuff that we're seeing, the severe thunderstorm warning, is about 30 to 50 miles south of us. So for now, the airport's operating normally. Just an extremely busy day as we approach the Memorial Day travel period. Ariel?
Tyler, thank you so much for giving us this live look. I definitely want to check in with you throughout the morning on how the travel today and those numbers might compare to other days. I know you've got those numbers up your sleeve, so we're going to get to you. But I do have to transition away because Alex Forbes is telling me he has a new and updated warning. So, Alex, we're going to get right out to you and see what the latest is.
Yeah, Ariel, you're about to see it pop up on your screen here. In fact, there it is on my watch. New severe thunderstorm warning that is going to include parts of Fayette and Pike County. Okay, wow. All right, so here it is. Well, look how massive it is, all right? So it goes from Pike, Lamar, Monroe over into this is going to be Jones County, all of Bibb County, all of Crawford, all of Taylor, including the Columbus area. All right, so this brand new severe thunderstorm warning is going to go now until 11 a.m. and it's going to be for the added storms that are down to the south. We've really seen this develop on its southerly end, and this is in response to the storms gaining more of the southerly component. So let me get some specifics for you here. This severe thunderstorm warning issued for winds of 60 miles an hour, 1-inch hail, and is moving towards the east now at 55, right? So it's not moving quite as fast as it was, but if we draw this now to the east at 55, let's see, right in there, this puts it into the Forsyth area in 10 minutes, Butler 13 minutes, and Roberta in the next 14 minutes. So you're looking at the heaviest of the rain in Thomaston right now, the heaviest of the rain in Talbotton, and if you're in Columbus, you're looking at the heaviest of the rain arriving as we speak. This is a live look in Columbus, in uptown Columbus. See a crane there in the foreground, the rain obviously coming down. The heaviest of the winds will begin pushing into Columbus here in the next little bit. So we're going to keep an eye on this camera, but we do have this new severe thunderstorm warning. And really quick, since I have it pulled up, let me just read off the counties here. Marion, Bibb, Pike, Muskogee, Monroe, Chattahoochee, Stewart, Upson, Houston, Jones, Harris, Macon County, Twiggs, Webster, Peach, Crawford, Schley, Talbot, Taylor, and Lamar counties. That is how big this warning is, and that's going to go until 11 a.m. Ariel?
Thank you so much, Alex. Yeah, I definitely want to check in with you again throughout the morning to see as this progresses. It is moving quickly, which is, I feel every single time we come to you, I can see on radar how much more this storm has moved east.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. So thank you. We're going to come back to you again in a little bit. Guys, it is time to go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break. When we return, we're going to be catching up with I-Team investigative reporter Dana Fowle about student loans and how wage garnishes are coming for those who have defaulted. This is a program through the Treasury Department that is returning. So we're going to catch up with her about what this means after the next 2 minutes. We'll see you then. I'm Ariel Onstadt here with I-Team investigative reporter Dana Fowle. Dana, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me again.
So this is where we are going to discuss today student loans. And we've seen a lot of headlines write about how they're going to garnish your wages. And I think there's a lot of chatter and anxiety about what this means for people. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, it's not everybody. If you have a government student loan out there, it's not for everybody. If you've missed a payment or two, it's not for you. It is folks who have defaulted on these student loans. And that means you haven't paid anything on these loans in about a year. And so the government is saying, we can't do this anymore. By the end of this summer, they will begin to garnish wages.
So if you have not paid for more than a year, the government is going to garnish your wages to help pay for the student loan.
Yes.
Do you know how much they're taking? Are they taking all your money, all your wages?
It's going to be based on what your salary is.
Okay.
There'll be a scale. And I think you probably know if you're in this category.
Yeah.
I mean, they sent out 195,000 notices recently. There'll be a total of 5.3 million going out in short order. So by the end of the summer, these 5.3 million people will know that their wages will be garnished. Now, the government doesn't want to garnish your wages. This is from a program called the Treasury Offset Program. And what they want you to do is go ahead and get in touch with them about how to start a payment plan.
Yeah.
Get back on track. Do something to start making these payments again, because they don't want to be in the business of this sort of banking.
Yes. They have more important things to be doing. So if you're listening to this, or if you've read headlines, you owe on your student loans, and maybe you saw that, you know, I think sometimes we kind of skim headlines and maybe we're freaked out because we're like, oh, they're going to garnish wages because I owe on a student loan. No. You have to be delinquent on the loan. And Dana, we were discussing the difference between delinquency and default when it comes to your student loans.
And there is a distinct difference there.
Yeah.
There are 5.3 million people who have defaulted. This means you haven't done anything in about a year to pay toward this loan. A delinquency means I've skipped a payment. I was late on a payment. Now you're getting fines for that, like you do when you have a loan with the bank and you've been late on a payment. So that's still happening. There are about 4 million people in that space. So if this sort of high pressure now to really pay these loans kicks in, and the economy's in a sort of weird little space right now, if you're afraid of losing your job, more of those 4 million could slide into that, but they're hoping not.
Yes.
Sure.
So I think another question that comes to my mind, a lot of people who maybe are graduating recently, or it's been some time and maybe they are coming about in a later stage, right? After COVID, maybe wondering, is this new? Has the federal government ever done anything like this before where they've garnished wages for those who have not paid on their student loans in over a year? Is this new?
It's not new. That's the thing about this. If this feels new, it is absolutely not new. And it takes me back to this thing called the Treasury Offset Program. And what that does is collect money that has been owed to the government. That's what they do. Before the pandemic, this happened. I mean, they would garnish your wages if you didn't pay your federal student loan back. You got a break. There was a 5-year break there. And what they're saying now is the break is over. You've got a 5-year reprieve. It's done. It's time to pay up now.
That makes sense. I would imagine, both sides of the aisle, both sides of Congress, some people are probably saying maybe, hey, this is not a good time with the economy being what it is.
That's exactly what they're doing. There are members in Congress who are still not happy about this. Who say, wait a minute, the economy is on a little slippery slope right now. We're all sort of trying to figure out what is going on. Layoffs are expected in the coming months. I mean, the president told us to expect fewer toys potentially this holiday season. So we'll see what happens. So there are some who say this really isn't the right time to be doing this. There's another side to this.
Absolutely.
And that is, this was always the program. You got a 5-year break. Look at it, that the glass half full is you got a 5-year break. It's time to pay up now.
And also, I think some people are probably saying like 5 years you've had a break. If you haven't been able to make the most of 5 years, then, are you going to be able to make the most of another 5 or whatever? But everyone's situation is different. And,
everyone's situation is different. But it takes me back to one of the things where we said this sort of debt load is getting better.
Okay.
And I don't know if we talked about this, or I'm just thinking about this.
I wanted to ask. Yes.
Here we go. So in 2018, the federal student loan debt defaults peaked. And this was at, I'm going to look at my number here, $106 billion. That's defaulted loans peaked. By 2021, it had moved down to around 86 billion. So in those years, in some of those years where we got a little bit of a break, the number did start to slide down. So we're not at that peak. We're moving in the right direction, but there are many in Congress who think we got to keep moving in that direction.
Sure. I am curious, you know, with this going down, I'm curious about the factors, right? It just gets my wheels turning, and it makes me think, do people have less debt? Is it also the fact of, are fewer people going to college and taking out these federal loans? I mean...
You know, I don't know. These federal student loans are a really, really complicated situation.
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at universities that are now raising their tuition to close to $100,000 a year. Who can afford this?
Right.
You know, and our parents and students taking out these giant loans to be able to do this.
Yeah.
If that is going on, or is that elevated because there's so many federal student loan opportunities out there, so they keep tacking onto the price? If you know the answer to this, you win the lottery.
Yeah.
Because there are so many moving parts. And I follow these threads because I have a daughter who's going to be going to college in the next couple of years. So I follow these threads like Paying for College 101.
Sure.
And I watch, the conversations all these parents have about trying to pay for these. And there seems to be a real conversation about, you just have to tell your kids, we can't afford it.
Yes.
You go to a state school.
Right.
That's what you do for undergrad. You pay for what you can pay for because you cannot leave with this kind of debt.
And I think it's so, times have changed, right? And I know so many of you probably can attest to this, but, you think about what college used to be back in the day, before my time, right? But I'm going to say it. You think about how you went, you got a good education, you paid a sum of money, you came out, you made a good living based on the investment you made going to school. Now you may have people who are going to school, taking out so much money for these loans, and the career path they're choosing or whatever degree they're taking out is not going to reap the dividends of the investment with the loan and what they have put into it. And I think with social media and so many other avenues, trades, a lot of people are realizing maybe a 4-year degree is not netting me the same benefit that it once did. Everyone has to choose their own path, and that's not a blanket statement by any means, but it's interesting to see those trends.
It's absolutely the conversation. I'm thinking back. I went to college in 1984.
Sure.
And I took out loans and grants and this sort of thing. I had to pay for everything all on my own.
Yep.
And I remember for 10 years, I paid, I think, $101, $110, something like that a month. And when I got out of college, I made $14,000 a year, and that was with overtime. And I, I had roommates, and I figured out how to make it work, and I was never late once, and I was broke. I mean, it was really hard.
I mean, 100 is still a fair amount of money by today's standards.
I drove a liter of a car.
Yeah.
I put my suits on layaway.
Yep.
You did whatever you could. It was not easy, and I think it is even more challenging today than it was for me then. For them, it was doable for a blue-collar kid to take out a loan and figure out how to get a job and go to college and get it done. It wasn't easy, but it was doable.
And I think about how the idea of college and university has changed, right? It used to be the PR or the reputation and imagery surrounding a university was you went, you got a good education, and that was that. Now I feel like colleges and universities, they sell you on this experience, the most beautiful campus, the most,
that's what costs money. I mean,
and I love it. It's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I went to the most beautiful campus, but at the same time, it's like, maybe
it's not free.
No, it's not.
I mean, you see these brochures and they say, oh, we have all these different dining experiences.
Yes.
We didn't have that.
Right.
You see, oh, we have these climbing walls and this new pool.
Yes.
That's not free. That's what this tuition is doing.
Right.
And I don't know that, we used to smuggle in these little hot pots.
Yeah.
That were, I think, illegally in our dorm rooms. I'm
sure.
not sure. And, we're making noodles and doing all sorts of things to feed ourselves
100%.
cheaply. And I'm not sure that's the exact same experience. It's been a minute. I don't know. I don't have a kid in college right now. But I feel like the expectations
has changed.
of kids today.
Right.
I used to see these pages with these dorm rooms, these decorated dorm rooms. And maybe you're handy at that and know how to do it on a dime.
On a budget, sure.
But that is some pretty elaborate stuff.
Yes.
I mean, my parents pulled up. The stuff came out of the truck. They put it in the dorm
Yeah.
room. I met my roommate that day, and
Yeah.
we just figured it out.
Sure.
And we had to wash our sheets downstairs in a laundry room.
Yes.
And I think we had one set. It just wasn't fancy.
No, it was utilitarian.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to look at the conversation. My brother is, you know, I think he's really bright, and I feel like he would be great going to college, and I've encouraged him. But at the same time, I mean, he's getting these Google cybersecurity certifications. He's getting these really rare type of programming type accolades that's going to help him go out and get a job and make him really desirable. But it's just wild to see how you can do that. He doesn't have to go to college for that. It's like these big companies are offering certifications and saying, hey, skip the 4-year degree, just come right to us and take our training, and then you can write your check anywhere
There
you
are
want.
so many pathways now.
Yeah.
The 4-year degree is not the only way to get there. And I think a lot of kids were sold on this. That
Yeah.
you have to get this 4-year degree. And I understand where that came
Sure.
from. I mean, I was sold on that coming
yeah.
out because it was the right path
Sure.
for me. And so a lot of these kids were sold on this. Take out these loans. They get halfway through and realize, I hate this. I'm not surviving this.
Yep.
I can't do this. And then they get out and they still have the loans to pay.
Right.
They don't have the degree to back it up.
No.
And then they're trying to start all over in a different program. And
Yeah.
that is crippling.
So
Financially crippling.
going back to this, when is the Treasury Department through this program going to start garnishing wages? When does this program resume if you are in default on your student loan?
Soon. This
Okay.
summer. Like you can expect it this summer.
Okay.
And so if you have a way to go online and check your status, where it is, number one, figure out if you can do a payment plan.
Yeah.
Get something started. And then I'm assuming you need to be on the lookout in the mail, in the email, for some sort of a notification about when this kicks in for you.
I think to your point, when we first started this, is if you are, you know this applies to you, you know you're in default on your federal student loan, you've not made any payments in more than a year, and you want to get ahead of this, you can go and try to set up that payment plan, and then you can choose the amount that you want to give them, as opposed to them taking the amount that's in proportion to your income.
I mean, it's going to be.
It's still gonna be sizable.
It's still going to be something. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to just give them
$5.
$50
Yeah.
and say, hey, that's a little something. But you want to be the instigator.
You want to have control. Yeah, I would.
You want to be in the driver's seat and control this narrative, and maybe just get your name out of the conversation, make a payment or two, get your name out of the conversation, and buy yourself some time.
Dana, thank you. Anyone has any questions on this story, wants to send you any other tips or ideas, you guys have any questions, how can they reach us?
Welcome to Burgers with Buck, second helping to look back at some of our best Burgers with Buck memories, and there are plenty of them. And this week, we begin in Buckhead at a place that's known for semi-fine dining, but if you ask us, there's no semi when it comes to their classic market burger. It's fine.